In a forgotten corner of an ancient prison, hidden deep within the bowels of stone and shadow, lay Cell 13. Known as the Death Cell, it had held some of the most notorious criminals throughout history. But what made this cell infamous was not the deeds of its inhabitants, but the horrifying legend of the howling that echoed through its walls. The story began with the first prisoner to occupy Cell 13, a man condemned for unspeakable crimes. As the tale goes, on the night before his execution, a dreadful wail pierced the silence of the prison. It wasn't the cry of a man. It was something otherworldly, a sound that crawled under the skin and settled in the bones of all who heard it. Guards rushed to the cell, only to find the prisoner lying dead, his face twisted in an expression of sheer terror. His eyes, wide open, seemed to stare into an abyss that no one else could see. After his death, the cell remained empty for years. The prison wardens believed it was cursed, and few dared to speak of the eerie howling. However, the cell could not remain unoccupied forever. In time, another condemned man was placed within its walls. On the night before his execution, the prison was again filled with that haunting cry. The guards found him in the same state as the first, lifeless, with the same look of horror etched on his face. Word of the howling spread, and Cell 13 became a legend. Some said the cries were the souls of the damned, tortured for eternity. Others believed it was the devil himself, claiming the souls of the wicked. As more prisoners succumbed to the same fate, the legend grew, and the cell was eventually sealed. It was marked with a sign that read, "Beware the howling." Years passed, and the prison fell into disuse, left to decay. But the stories never died. Locals swore they could still hear the howling on quiet nights, drifting from the direction of the old prison. Some claimed to see shadowy figures moving through the broken windows, whispering of an eternal torment. Curiosity, however, has a way of luring the brave and the foolish alike. A group of paranormal investigators decided to explore the abandoned prison. They were eager to document the legends. As they entered the crumbling halls, the air grew colder, and a heavy silence enveloped them. They made their way to Cell 13, their footsteps echoing in the dark. Inside, they set up their equipment, the air thick with anticipation. As midnight approached, the temperature plummeted. Then, it began. The low, mournful howl that sent shivers down their spines. The sound grew louder, more intense, filling the small cell with an oppressive presence. The investigators felt an overwhelming sense of dread, as if they were not alone. Suddenly, one of them screamed, clutching his head. He fell to the ground, convulsing. The others watched in horror as his eyes flew open, revealing a look of sheer terror. The same look that had claimed the lives of the prisoners before him. The howling grew deafening, drowning out their own cries. And then, as quickly as it had started, it stopped. The room fell silent, save for the ragged breaths of the survivors. They fled the prison, leaving their equipment behind. The man who had fallen was never the same, his eyes forever haunted by whatever he had seen. The footage they captured was later reviewed, but all it showed was darkness and the faint echo of a cry, almost human, yet not. The legend of Cell 13 lived on, and the howling continued. It was a warning, a reminder of the unspeakable horrors that lay within. And so, the old prison remained untouched, a place where the brave dared not tread, and the curious paid the ultimate price. For in the death cell, the howling never ceased.